Bobby Deemer, League of Women Voters, and I saw somebody else sign as Bobby Deemer. If somebody's here named Bobby Deemer other than me, because I've never met another one in my life. Is she down there? Yeah.
Mine has an S on the end.
That's all right.
Excuse me. John Gaffney, Royal Harbor Homeowners Association.
John, great. Other members in this section over here to the back? Yep.
Joanne Swan, St. Lucie Sailing Club.
Joanne.
Jeanette Hartzell, St. Lucie County League of Women Voters.
Linda Brand, American Association of University Women.
Regina Wood, Martin County Florida Native Plant Society.
Jackie Transinger, the still very active representative of the Martin County Conservation.
And I remember John McQuigg and Dr. Stokes and the whole Hall of Fame of people that have been years ago. Back here in the back, go ahead. Al?
Alex Gillen, Full Sugar.
Great.
Blair Wickstrom, Florida Sportsman.
Hey, Blair. In the back. Coming up here to the front. Go ahead, George.
I'm sorry.
George.
Joe Dorca.
Sherry Akers, St. Lucie County Conservation Alliance.
Sherry.
Jackie Thurlow, Lit Fish River Kids.
Paul Gray, Audubon.
And Lynn.
Got me already.
Yeah.
Okay, moving back towards the back. Do we have any other members? Yep.
George McLean, Guardians of Martin County.
Marcia Pitkin, Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Church.
Marcia.
Mill Evans, Palm Cove, HOA.
In the back, go ahead.
American Martha Foster, Meadows Island Community Action Association.
Mark, I saw you back there.
Mark said he.
Okay.
By the way, Tallahassee, tell me what you need. I have people there every week.
So we have people there every week through Mark Austin and Middle Island, so we'll get with him. Yep.
Jim Wharton, Harbor Ridge Yacht Club.
Hi, Jim. Any other members? Kenny?
Kenny Hinkle, River Warriors Board of Directors for the Rivers Coalition, INC.
And so our also elected officials we have, I know we have Becky Brenner, stand up from City of Stuart. Welcome, Becky. Thank you. Mayor Madison from City of Stuart. Do we have any other representatives or folks in the room, elected officials that I missed? I'm sorry if I did. All right, we're going to move on. River Kids Report. Jackie, could you come on up? And I think we have some special presentation. There you go. Thank you, Bud.
Let's give these gentlemen one final round of applause. Richard Geisinger, come up here. Come on. The great thing about overseeing River Kids, hi brother Todd. Nice to see my brother. See my brother Todd? The great thing about River Kids, which not every organization can be as lucky to say, is we are always receiving money. I mean, we are blessed to have people donating to us often because they believe in the kids and the future and the work that the River Kids do. We had our first meeting already as River Kids under the new structure, and we just talked about our structure, and we wanted to say how grateful we are to the people who are donating to us. And I'm going to let you say a couple words.
Thank you, Jackie. It's just amazing to sit here and watch. This is why Stuart is so great. If you look around the room, all these people that have invested thousands of hours in this, it's unbelievable to me that people don't understand the importance of this issue, and especially the political side of the equation, but that's neither here nor there. We were fortunate enough during the boat show to control some property that the boat show people needed to park on. And as a result of that, we were able to get East Electric and the production company who did the boat show to donate to the River Kids, as well as giving us like maybe 30 or 40 small fishing poles that we're going to try and do something with the kids. So it didn't cost me a bit, but we allowed them to use the land and they made a donation, so it's really to them that the gratitude goes, and that's Dietz Electric and the production company. Thank you.
Go ahead. Is that another one?
This is, yes, explain, here, can you give the microphone to?
Barbara, you do it.
Oh, these are for him. Why don't you tell us how you, it was your idea?
I'm Bobby Demers. I'm with the GFWC, General Federation of Women's Clubs, Women's Club of Stuart. My name is Bobby. This is Janie Cope. She is our president. We're also fortunate enough to have Becky as a member of our club. And we had the idea to go and take the U.S. Sugar Tour. So we went on the U.S. Sugar Tour. We heard about their BMPs and some of that. We asked each of our participants to donate $5 for the tour that would be turned over to River Kids.
So we got money from the U.S. Sugar Tour?
Yeah. But because of it. But we all did get a lovely lunch at Sonny's barbecue. So that was worth it. But it was just to see what was going on. Their big focus for people on the tour, if you've not gone on it, is basically, it's the local farmers, which, having heard about the power of U.S. sugar, they're probably this big compared to U.S. sugar. But that tends to be more of their theme. But it's certainly worthwhile because we did see the sugar production facilities, and we also got to see cane burning, which was very interesting and educational. So, and Janie?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing too. And this money actually is coming from the Women's Club of Stuart, not from Big Sugar.
Right,
Just
right.
so you know that. And it's also part of our, we have a conservation committee. We have 6 service committees that we do wonderful work with, and this came from our conservation committee. So I want to give them a little credit. So thank you. And
Great. And I just want to qualify that we have to work with U.S. Sugar. We are not against U.S. Sugar. They will be watching this on television. And to fix these issues, we all have to work together, and we have to have the young people and the old people and everybody in between screaming that we want something better than this. So thank you very much for the support, and thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you so much. That's great. Great. Barbara has something.
Every year, the Blessing of the Fleet on February 6th, for the last couple of years, the proceeds go to River Kids. And we are the flagship. And last year, well, we've been doing it for a couple of years, but last year, our sailing catamaran was the flagship. We had River Kids on it. Mike Flow came on his boat, and Nick Mader's trying to get her boat up and running this year. So I think right now, this year, Nick's boat is up on the heart, so we kind of needed a trawler but we're hoping to get a lot of River Kids. We have t-shirts for them, just tell them your sizes, and we'll make sure they have life vests. And we need to meet at Shepherd's Park between 10:30 and 11. And remember, every kid is a River Kid. So even if you've got grandchildren and they said, but we're not River Kids, they are. So tell them to come. We'll bring them t-shirts, we'll bring them life jackets, and Blessing of the Fleet then is very generous in their proceeds to us afterwards.
Saturday,
February 9th.
Thank you, Barbara. We're going to have more member comments and announcements toward the end of the agenda, but I want to get through our Speakers Bureau and then some agency updates and reports. I know Paul Gray's here and others. So Speakers Bureau, Todd is not here, but I think John, you have a comment or two about Speakers Bureau. Jim.
Sorry, Jim. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, if you are part of an organization or know any of the organizations that need to have a speaker, come speak to them about their coalition, please contact Todd Weissing. We did, I know one we did, which was the Veterans of the American Revolution this last month.
Daughter?
Sons.
The sons of the American Revolution. Okay. So it was very interesting and was well received at that. And just a personal note, Mark, before we leave today, I would like to have a feedback from you on Brian LaPointe.
Do I have to? Well, maybe we'll have feedback.
Todd is not here, so he asked me to give the report that we had with the Association of University Women, thanks to Linda Graham. And it was at the Pirates Cove, and it was fabulous. The enthusiasm of these women and the dedication. And Todd got up there and just had them eating out of his hands. And I said, Todd, I think they all want to adopt you. So it was an excellent meeting, and I'll tell you, as far as our PR out in the community, Todd's rocking it.
Todd is rocking it. Give it up for Todd. Thank you. You know, Barbara is our administrative coordinator and has been doing a stellar job in getting all of this on the website. And also her husband Bruce, if you don't know, Bruce does everything too. He's helping all of us look really good. So we got Martin County and state federal agencies. I don't believe Diane Hughes is here today.
No.
Anybody from Martin County to report? I know she does every month, usually gives us a great report on all the Martin County stormwater projects, all the projects they're doing and work they're doing on that. Paul, as far as state and federal agencies, Paul Gray, you here can come on up. Yeah, there you go. Give us a little update. I know that this.
Yeah, so Paul Gray, just real quickly, a Okeechobee update. The lake's at 12.3 feet today. Normally, we don't want it to go below 12 feet in any given year, but this year with all the hurricane damage, we lost about 60 to 70 square miles of plant communities, and they're rooted at about the elevation of 11 to 9 feet. So what we really want is to get the lake down at least to 11 feet this year and leave it there for a few months so the sunlight can reach the bottom and those plants can start regrowing. So the good news is the lake's low, but we want it to be low. Something really amazing is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers right now is making large releases to the Caloosahatchee Estuary. Unlike us, they actually need fresh water during the winter. Even though the water quality is not very good, the salinity is more important to them. And the schedule only calls for 650 CFS to them right now, or even less, depending on the discretion. The Corps is giving them 800 to 1,000, more than what the schedule calls for. This is radical, and it's good. Yeah, it's good. So they're helping the estuary on the other coast because all of us have been on them, and they're trying to respond. So that's very commendable. And then at the governing board last month, they allocated several $100,000 to the University of Florida Water Institute to give them a report on the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule that's coming up. And this is the same group that Senator Negron got funding for when they released that really good report about how to reduce estuary flows. They're very highly respected, they're very skilled. I talked to Dr. Wendy Graham, who's the head of that, yesterday, and she said they're going to do kind of like they did last time. They're going to come around, talk to stakeholders, say, what do you need to get out of Lourdes? What have you been experiencing from estuary releases? What's the best way to manage these things? And so they're going to prepare a report, and they hope to do it this summer. They're going to do it pretty quickly. So that will be coming up, and a lot of us, and they said, who should we talk to? And I went to Mark Perry. They're like, okay, we know him. So anyway, Jim. So that's my update. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Paul. As Paul mentioned, on the state and federal agencies, you know, during this transition time for the new administration and the governor, he gets to appoint also his cabinet, which means the head of DEP, the head of the other departments. We also have a new commissioner for agriculture, Nikki Freed, who's part of that. So there's some new leadership that's going to come down and come across, but it's the legislature is going to meet. They're starting their session actually in March 5th, and it goes for 60 days. But prior to that, the legislature is meeting through committees, and they're introducing bills and introducing things that are pertinent to us. So we all should track and keep track of what that is. There were two local legislative delegation meetings that came up in Martin County and St. Lucie County last week. George and many of us attended those two meetings to to speak with the now Senator Gail Harrell and also others who were, newly elected or in their positions. And it was interesting in the paper today, I think you saw that Representative Aaron Grawl, who's in St. Lucie County, has introduced a bill into about biosolids. So in St. Lucie County and Indian River County, I think she goes up that way. But, what I'm making a point is to stay tuned to those state legislators, even if they're not in session yet, by March 5th and going forward, it's kind of too late. You need to start thinking now of what's coming up in the state legislature and keep an eye on that. So as far as those state federal agencies go, that's the thing.
Thanks. And so in preparation for this legislative session, DEP convened a technical advisory committee on biosolids. And there were 7 people on it. I was the token environmentalist. We had our last meeting yesterday. That's why I was with Dr. Graham. Boy, I was. Anyway, but I think there's going to be good things coming out of it. But they were doing this in preparation. What happened is in 2007 they passed the estuary recovery plans, and they told everybody in the Okeechobee and St. Lucie watersheds, if you're going to spread biosolids, you have to do it in a phosphorus balance in a phosphorus balance. Well, that means they have to spread it so thinly it's not economical. So they started going to Indian River County. And right now, Indian River County is getting 75% of all the Class B biosolids in the entire state are being dumped in that one county.
Oh my gosh.
This is a county who puts their stuff in the landfill. And you know who's doing it to them is the Lower East Coast. It's Miami and Lauderdale and Palm Beach and all that. So it's created a big problem. Blue Cypress Lake, if you've ever been there, is one of the most beautiful lakes on the planet. But it used to be very pristine, and it had cyanobacteria this year. And it's because there's a ranch right near there that was getting these biosolids. The poor ranching family was told, well, this is fine, we're gonna do it according to permits, but the permits actually allow too much dumping and it causes water quality problems. So that's what the committee was trying to give the DEP advice on ways to regulate this. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but Representative Grawl has introduced a bill, and so that's gonna be a very active thing, so let's all keep our eye on that. So, because we've gotta give Indian River County some relief.
Yes, Dr. Gray, did you see something that said DEP was also gonna stop spraying Lake Okeechobee?
Yes.
No, hearings, they're gonna have hearings. Anybody know when they're gonna be, or?
No, they said temporarily, the
FWC
Fish
stopped.
and Wildlife is going to suspend spraying of herbicides in the lake.
And have hearings.
That's what I read today,
Yeah.
So they're gonna have public hearings.
which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole different topic, but yeah, the aquatic plant spraying is very controversial for good reason. There's some things that could be better there too, but we won't go to that.
All right, thanks, Paul. Okay.
Following up on what Paul just mentioned, while Indian River County is moving ahead, moving forward, and we wonder what happens if they disallow spreading of biosolids. As we speak, there's a 7,000-acre quasi-farm in northern St. Lucie County who are begging the water management district for permits right now, and they intend to spread on what they call a feed corn crop. And this is about the largest step backwards that I've seen in the last 20 years. And what they've done to the county governments is they've said spreading is a typical allowed agricultural operation. And the state of Florida does not allow local governments to control accepted agricultural operations. So they are bypassing the counties. They need permits from the DEP and from the Water Management District. The DEP has said, we'll issue contingent on the Water Management District accepting. The other thing that you should know about this is, this is planned to be spread on a 7,000-acre flat farm area, which has a controlled canal system for runoff. The runoff goes into a man-made lake on the property, and the man-made lake has 2 canals that flow into the C-25 canal, which flows directly into the Indian River Lagoon. So this is probably the biggest single threat that exists today in the lagoon. and everybody should be contacting the water management districts, saying, I mean, if you're looking to defend yourself to the governor, saying that you guys really care and you should be able to keep your jobs, or if you're looking for a replacement job on the Board of Governors, stopping this kind of permitting is the very best thing you can do right now.
Great. So thanks for that update. We can get some more updates, but anytime you have news like this, let's share that and get it around so we can get to meetings and stuff. As far as the agencies, I want to also say that I got to go up to the Kissimmee and the restored section of the Kissimmee through Riverwoods up there just the other day, and Bob Mathias and some others in this community got to go and see that. And one of the important things they pointed out was there were alligators, of course, and birds and fish, but the snail kites were up there, and they hadn't been up there in many years, but in the recent times, they've seen a huge nesting and a population of snail kites up there. And it was amazing to look at the sky and see, 10 or so at a time. I mean, it was amazing nesting of snail kites. So I know it makes Paul Gray and others happy very much here. We're going to move on to the Defense Fund is basically now the Strategic Action Committee. And as I said, Charles is heading that up if there are any kind of issues coming there, and then we'll move to local issues, Riverkeeper update, and member announcements. Yep.
Earlier, as we went through the history, there was one thing that I think was underplayed or not spoken about enough. From the time that Leon left until this recent reorganization, there was a team called the leadership team that held this group together. And if you think about it, during the course of the leadership team's tenure, they actually doubled the size of this organization. So these 5 people worked their buns off, helped make this organization what it is now. And if I can get, I think all 5 are here now. If you could stand up, I think we owe them.
Yeah.
A thank you for that. And the last thing I wanted to say is when Leon said that he and I were kind of joined at the hip, what he meant was during the early 2000s as the directions were being established, Leon and I would get together very, very often, either in person or on the phone, and he would ask me, so tell me, what is the radical faction think? I was always Leon's radical faction. Now, as I look around, I think I'm the designated curmudgeon. So.
Well, you could put that on you, Jeff. He's the designated curmudgeon. But we have great organizations. Some of us are really extreme and radical, so that's great, and some are not. But however we do it, our mission is the same, and that's for fighting for clean water. My local issues and quality update is pretty simple. The water's looking good, obviously, since stop discharge last October. As the tides come in and we get these strong tides and storm surges, we get a really good flushing. The salinity's up in the Roosevelt Bridge and the Middle Estuary are great. The unfortunate thing is our report card, even though it says in a good grade, for the water quality parameters that we monitor, dissolved oxygen, temperature, pH, and so forth, it doesn't account for the habitat loss. And we've lost a tremendous amount of oyster and seagrass habitat with that long duration of discharges. And we've got a lot more silt and sediment in the estuary now than we've had before from all this discharge event. So we still are not really up to par. Our goal is to completely restore some of the estuaries and the conditions here, send all that water south that we really needed, and let's move on from that. Let's hear from any Riverkeeper updates, some member announcements, and we're gonna really get out here on time. Mike?
Everglades Coalition meeting. Nobody said anything about it. Once again, this is my 6th one that I've been able to go to. This membership right here, Martin St. Lucie County, have more people there than any other county. Even when it's in Dade County or in the Keys or on the West Coast, we are well represented here. Mark was a co-sponsor. It went wonderful. I could not be more proud. There was Maggie Hercella, Donna Melzer, Mark Perry, Sarah Hurd was our only elected commissioner there. Dr. Gary Goforth, he was excellent. Dr. Paul Gray, I consider way down upon the Kissimmee River part of us. So Dr. Paul Gray was excellent. He did some good stuff. George Jones was there. Warren Fall was there. Dr. Beth Falls. Jackie Thurlow-Lipich was there. We were well represented on the panels, in the discussions, in the hallways, in the back rooms. Waterkeepers Florida, we had our second meeting in 4 months with FDEP Secretary Noah Valenstein. The good news for us out of that, our big ask 4 months ago, was to reestablish the harmful algal bloom task force. He gave us the news that due to the executive order of Governor DeSantis, he was empowered to do something about that, and he fully intended to do. We had discussions. One of the things that we felt was kind of missing in the governor's programs that he was offering out, we need to control our nutrients. We discussed that once again with Secretary Valenstein. He was receptive this time, better than he was last time when he was working for Governor Scott. He agreed to meet with us, Waterkeepers Florida. We are now our own entity, by the way. We have 14 of us in Florida. Twice a year, we're going to go up there and meet with you. I think this is opens up a door for us, and in Tallahassee, Waterkeeper Florida, we represent, about 20,000 people in the state of Florida now. So, it's pretty significant. I was proud, very proud of all the people here that disseminated so much information and taught so many people. So, thank you, all of you that were there that I just mentioned. Thank you. Sunday, there's a fundraiser for me. Gail, you want to speak to that, please?
Yes, we're having a fundraiser for Marty Baum because he's been so sick and losing his pay. And it's going to be at the Driftwood Motel around 11 o'clock in Jensen Beach. And we have a golf cart that is taking people back and forth from parking because there's not a lot of parking here. You can.
What time?
Sunday.
Sunday, 12 to 2.
Sunday.
Is it 1?
12 to 2. Oh,
I thought it was 12 to 2.
I'm sorry, I gotta be there at 11, so I'm sorry.
12 to 2, okay. Sunday, 12
And
to 2.
Marty, I was
Sunday, 11 to 4.
Okay, let's go. Roll us on.
Marty, I was at EPCO too.
Yep.
Gail was in EPCO too.
Was in EPCO, was Representative Brian Bass, was our local Stephen Layton.
Steve was there.
And where is the parking for Sunday?
Well,
Admiral's Table.
There's an Admiral's Table that's closed, so the old is just their parking lot. We're gonna have a golf cart going back and forth to Driftwood.
Okay, February 6th, 6 p.m., if it still holds, I'll be at the Unitarian Church speaking about EPCO. The Florida Wildlife Federation and myself, as Marty Bond, not as your Indian River Keeper, we're engaged in a lawsuit. It moves forward. I've been instructed to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to. The biosolids issue up there in Indian River County, the good news for us is it is on the west side of the Atlantic Coastal Ridge, and all of this devastation is going into the St. John's instead of the Indian River Lagoon. That doesn't make it any better. They have taken one of the most pristine lakes in Florida and so degraded it that our dear friends, the Bakers, who Dr. Richard Baker, who's been going for 30, 40 years with his wife, they won't live long enough to see it pristine again. It's very sad. Let's see. On history, the inlet was opened by the community in 1892 in the spring. It lasted about 3.5 months. It barred over due to the longshore current dragging sand in this new very shallow, very narrow inlet. The steam-powered dredge Eric was lying idle at Jupiter, and they hired it for $3,000 to $5,000, depending on who you look at. Jackie's mom, Sandy, is all over this stuff. It's wonderful. So, our inlet was opened in 1892, and it changed the game. In 1898 was the first federal survey of our inlet, because they were talking about building jetties and all kinds of things. At that same time, Prospect Inlet down at Peck's Lake was also open. 3 times since our inlet has been open, that inlet blew open. Back in those days, you had a straight fetch from Vero Beach, 30 miles, all the way to where the lagoon closed to 60 feet. And it would just go right over the dune. So, there's that one. I was very honored that when Ross Witham died, I was asked to take his place on the trustee steering committee at the House of Refuge. And, you know, that's twice now. Marty's been asked to fill some very big shoes. Ross was the first one, and George's were the second. Thanks.
We're going to wrap up with some of the member comments, announcements. Just a couple of quick ones. There's the Indian River Lagoon Symposium up at Harbor Branch is coming up on February 8th. It's a Thursday. I know it's a whole day schedule. Then on Friday, the 9th, they have a public forum, a half-a-day forum up there at Harbor Branch. Please go online and check that out. It's the Indian River Lagoon Symposium. There's 45 presentations and 35 poster sessions. That's a lot of science and input, but you're going to hear a lot about and learn a lot about the lagoon. Many of us go every year to that. We also have a lecture series that's coming up. Grant Gilmore's going to be out there on February 4th at the Blake Library. Michelle Burrill, our outreach coordinator, Michelle, stand up. She's got handouts and stuff back there in the back. Remember the announcement again about February 19th, the lower schedule, and that handout I put out in the back as well. So we've got those for you, and a couple of resolutions that we did are back there as well. So other member announcements. Sherry, I got one, and then Sherry.
Real brief. Reminder to all our members, if you're interested, we got some great ideas. The committee chairs would like to hear from you, and the chairs will be listed on our website. So I know Jim's running the meeting chair, so
Great.
that's an approach, Jim.
There you go. Sherry, come on. Try to pass George. Yeah, let's go. Pass him up. Great.
Hi, I know most of us know Dr. Gary Goforth. He has graciously accepted the Conservation Alliance of St. Lucie County and Oxbow Eco Center's invitation to present on the North Fork of the St. Lucie River. The Conservation Alliance is making efforts to map our watershed so that we can begin to know the different types of inputs and variables so that we can do our part in keeping our waterways clean.
When is that?
What's
Oh,
the
sorry,
date?
Dr. East, sorry, February 13th at 6:30 p.m. And it will be at the St. Lucie County Board of County Commission Chambers, which is on Virginia Avenue, 2300 Virginia Avenue in Fort Pierce. We have it on our Facebook page. If you go to the Conservation Alliance St. Lucie County Facebook page, you'll have more information. Thank you.
Do you have these in the back?
And we'll have in the back.
Okay. Just to say that too, that lecture that's coming up at the Lake by Florida Oceanographic is Grant Gilmore's learning about rare and endangered fish species in the North Fork. Grant Gilmore's been hired up to look into the endangered species. I want to mention that Gary, as you know, Marty mentioned, he was at the Everglades Coalition, and Gary is a part of our board, but I made sure that he was on a couple of panels. He was on 3 panels at the Everglades Coalition. And every one of them, what he presented here, a lot of you have seen is the science, the graphs, the charts about how much pollution is coming from where, and really